Social media isn't just addictive, it's insidious. We're not talking about fleeting trends, we're talking about a profound, often invisible influence that's dictating everything from our political views to our personal self worth. Prepare to see the platforms you use every day in a chilling new light as we expose their potentially dystopian grip on our lives.
Patient officer of the wellness company and host of Ask Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, what are your thoughts about that? Men in particular, boys in particular?
Yeah, boys are lonely. Boys are not given the usual skills of how to develop relationships, and they're withdrawing. They're being told they're not worthwhile. They're toxic. I mean, those messages they've been receiving now for years.
Dystopian platform examining social media's grip. What if our worth wasn't measured in money or the work we do or even our character, but in likes, follows, and views? In many ways, that's already the case. Social media has created a parallel economy, not of dollars, but of attention. And in this economy, some people rise to the top, while others are quietly pushed into invisibility. I'm particularly talking about young boys, young men. They're pushed into the corners where it's dark. And you know what you find in the dark? You find creepy crawly things like Andrew Tate and the rest. What you find is mold and bacteria. That's what you find in there. Social credit score. We like to think that we're free of systems like China's social credit score, but the truth is we build our own version. It's unofficial, unregulated, and it's run on dopamine. Every like, every share, every follow acts like a point of an invisible scoreboard. The higher your numbers, the more valuable you appear. Not just online, but in the real world. Opportunities, relationships, even self-worth often rise or fall based on how well you perform in this algorithmic game. And if your numbers are low, the silence can feel like failure, like you don't matter, like you've been erased. Cancel culture and public shaming. Then there's the other side of the coin, not just visibility, but punishment. Social media has become a courtroom without due process, a place where missteps, old posts, or unpopular opinions can lead to exile. Some call this accountability, but often it looks more like mob justice. People lose jobs, lose friends, lose their sense of safety, sometimes over a single screenshot. The result? Millions of us live in fear of saying the wrong thing. So we stay quiet, we don't take risks, we stop being authentic. It's so important to be your authentic self. How could you be your authentic self when you're running the risk of being canceled for a lifetime? Are we not allowed to make mistakes anymore? And yet, we still play the game because the platform rewards performance. It pushes us to curate our lives like highlight reels. Perfect smiles, perfect bodies, perfect politics. Anything less is rejection. But beneath that perfection, people are lonely. They're anxious. They're depressed. The very platforms that promise connection leave us more disconnected than ever, hiding behind filters and captions, desperate to be seen, but terrified of being vulnerable. But our vulnerability is what makes us human. This is the dystopian platform. Not some sci-fi nightmare of the future, but the world we already live in. So we have to ask who benefits from this system of constant ranking and performance. Can authenticity survive in a world that rewards conformity to algorithmic taste? And what happens if we stop playing the game? Because maybe the most radical act in a world that demands performance is to be real. But here's the thing. We're not trapped. We could fight back against this reality, not with more algorithms, but with humanity. Young boys and young men, especially, are being pushed into the corners of this world, corners where loneliness festers, corners where dark figures wait to guide them into anger, resentment, and hate. If we want to restore authenticity, then we need to bring them into the sunlight. And sunlight, after all, is the best disinfectant. That means creating space and giving grace. It means offering belonging to people who feel left out before the wrong voices find them first. And it's not just about them, it's about all of us. No man is an island. We can choose to welcome people as they are and encourage them to do the same for others. We can choose honesty over performance, dialogue over shame, community over competition. The platforms may push us toward perfection, punishment, and performance, but we don't have to obey. We could step out of the algorithm's grip and into something more real. Connection, acceptance, and above all else, authenticity. That's how we fight the dystopian platform, by building a world that doesn't even need one. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Skyjack Morgan, and I'm an independent news and culture commentator and free speech and critical thinking advocate. I hope that you'll join me on my channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Share it around like internet herpes. Share it with your friends. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.